on, how would you like the questions, sir? We usually collect the questions and have a session at the end. Can we do it the same way?
Yeah, that sounds good.
So participants, all your questions, you can post it in the comment section. I will collect it and then present it to sir at the end with your names. Thank you. We can begin, sir.
Okay. I'll just share my screen.
There will be two participants named Abhishek Hambat. One will be the presenter's camera and the other will be his presentation. Please pin the presentation so that it stays on top of the screen. This is to all participants. You have to individually pin the presentation. You can see it in the participant list just below the presenter's name. Yes.
Great. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Perfect. So, the topic today is, on virtual volunteering, and we are seeing a huge surge in virtual volunteering across the globe. With the COVID times, everyone talks about different sectors getting impacted because of COVID. And specifically from a volunteering perspective, everyone was thinking that virtual volunteering will come in the next few years or next few decades. And that has now significantly reduced to a couple of weeks. And this has become mainstream now. And just wanted to share what we have been seeing across multiple volunteers and companies in this world. So what I wanted to share today in terms of a quick agenda is just an introduction to Goodera and what we do, how we started, where we are, why virtual volunteering, and virtual volunteering from a company's perspective, because a lot of the volunteers today are actually working, are employees at certain companies, and it might be relevant for all of you to see how employees think, how companies think when they think about virtual volunteering. I can share a quick Goodera platform demo because we're offering that pro bono to a lot of companies and nonprofits, and then a Q&A at the end. This is the agenda. Quickly about Goodera, started late 2014. Our whole vision was to bring in best-in-class technology in the world of doing good. So, there is great technology for everything. As in, if you want to get a pizza or a cab, it's very easy. But if you want to volunteer, it's very, very difficult. So that's just one dimension of the lack of technology in this sector. And so that's how we started. Started out of India. Our first product was helping companies manage CSR. So large companies, because of the CSR law, had to manage CSR in a more streamlined and an effective manner, and they use the Goodera platform to do it. Currently, 25% of entire India CSR gets managed through Goodera. So about 3,000 crores worth of CSR money gets managed through Goodera. So large companies, right from Tata Trust to HDFC Bank to Hero Group, Bajaj Group, as in all of large companies, basically when they have to deploy CSR money, they come to the Goodera platform, find the right NGOs, do all the contracting, monitoring, and reporting through the Goodera platform. So that is our one module. The second module is for ESG, which is environmental social governance. So that is more around globally companies want to also measure their carbon footprint, water footprint, which gets measured through a platform. And the third piece is our volunteering platform, which we'll discuss more today. So the volunteering platform for Goodera is like an Airbnb for volunteering, where we work with NGOs on one side to understand what are their requirements and onboard volunteering opportunities. And our customers, employees can come to our platform and book a volunteering opportunity. So currently we have more than 1 million employees volunteering through the Goodera platform in more than 90 countries. Goodera, we are a VC funded company, and Omidyar Network, SEF, and Nexus are some of our investors. We have about 150 employees based out of Bangalore and San Francisco. So this is just a quick snapshot on the company and what we do. These are some of our customers. Just wanted to share that we work with a lot of large companies. So a lot of our learnings and understanding is, how do companies think about doing good? What works, what doesn't work? How do they decide where to put the CSR money? How do they decide how to, volunteer? What should their employees do? but our experience is working with lots of large companies across different parts of the world. So just about the Goodera story, and just wanted to share how we came into this. As in my background, I did my engineering from Pilani, and then did my MBA from IIM Bangalore. Post IIM Bangalore, we actually started a renewable energy company. It was to power telecom towers in rural India, and for that company, we are trying to raise funding, VC funding, and no VC was ready to fund us. So we had to take CSR money, or we got CSR money, and that was the introduction to the CSR world. And we actually sold the renewable energy company to Mahindra and started working in the CSR space. After spending a couple of years on the other side trying to get CSR money and understanding the processes around it, started with the CSR module in India, started scaling up, started selling in the US 2018 onwards. And as I mentioned, currently operate in 90 countries, 200 plus corporates we work with, 40,000 NGOs, 1 million employees, and about $500 million of CSR capital getting managed. So our goal is that how can we take a company from India to the world and become global, and actually transform the doing good space globally using technology built from India. So that's basically the vision and goal for the company. So now coming to virtual volunteering, and I think everyone knows now that work from home is the new reality. It's the new normal. Even after the lockdown, a lot of companies will encourage employees to work from home. Social distancing will be there across the world, and the only way to volunteer is virtual. So everything will now happen online. And given this massive shift of volunteering, uh, as I mentioned earlier, we thought that this would take decades for the shift to happen, and that has happened in a couple of weeks. So it is extremely critical that NGOs, volunteers, and companies understand what virtual volunteering means. What is this new reality, and how best to benefit from this change, and how do you change yourselves so that you could start creating more value from this new reality. As we say inside Goodera, COVID actually just changes the rules of the game. Any game that any company or NGOs there, it changes the rules of the game, and the math starts at 0-0. So everyone is new to this, and the one who is faster, more nimble, thinks better, innovates more, will actually go and become really big. And our belief is that we want to grow big, because the more bigger we get, the more impact we can create. So the thinking is, how can we operate really fast and make the most of what is happening with this new change in volunteering. So when we talk to companies, okay, in terms of virtual volunteering, I think one key statistic for you is that if you look at Google Trends, the search interest for volunteering and related keywords has increased by 5 times in the last 1 month. So, since the time there was the initial period around lockdown till about 2 weeks back, the increase in intent and urge for people to contribute back has significantly improved. So, 5 times search result increase is a huge thing. And the problem is that there is an intent to do good, but there is no way to channelize that intent. And that is why you need to, provide opportunities to, individuals and employees and volunteers to go out and contribute back, but in a virtual environment. And that is something which is a key factor here, is that there is a pent up, need and urge and demand, you might say, volunteer. How do you channelize this energy and intent to actually more volunteering is important. From a company perspective, providing a sense of purpose to employees, empowering NGOs and building stronger teams. So there are a lot of benefits for the company to actually encourage virtual volunteering, but fundamentally there is a huge need and demand. It is up to the NGOs and companies to be able to channelize this demand in the most effective manner. Just quickly on what is virtual volunteering, as in a lot of people have different definitions, but basically, volunteering from your homes, whatever you can do from your homes without going on the NGO site is virtual volunteering. I think, from, eVidyaLoka has been like a pioneer in this from the kind of initiatives that you have. And I think, you should, leverage and make the most of, what is this happening. And we would love to partner with you also on that. But virtual volunteering is, from your homes, how can you contribute back? And there are different types of, opportunities, right? From a couple of minutes to a couple of hours to a couple of days and weeks and months. So there are different types of virtual volunteering opportunities, and there is a lot of new types of opportunities and innovations, which are happening. So for example, at, Goodera, what we did for COVID relief was, work with different hospitals in India, all the municipal hospitals. All of them require, a lot of masks, PPE equipment, ventilators, and it was very difficult for them to, a lot of donors would call them and ask them, what do you want? And then they would figure out what they want, then communicate back. So what we said is, we will have, a volunteer assigned to every hospital, and that volunteer is just making note of what is the demand at the hospital and communicating it to the donors. The next thing what we did is, on Google Maps, volunteers can just mention which are the services open in your neighborhood, so that everyone knows that which are the shops which are open and not open and stuff, which, again helped. Another thing we did was calling, people in old age homes, because, they feel that they are at the highest risk and the elderly are at the highest risk. And how can you, spend some time, because no one can visit them, on the phone. So there are, these are micro volunteering. At the same time, there are, longer term projects where a, team of employees is actually helping build a marketing strategy for an NGO, or helping build a website, or helping, businesses navigate through this COVID time. So there are a lot of different kinds of virtual volunteering which is available. And, volunteers can work alone, or as a part of team. So there is a lot of new things and innovation which is happening in this space, just because of the interest levels here. Virtual volunteering is also a win-win for everyone. So for the volunteer, there are more opportunities. You could volunteer not just in your neighborhood, but also, with the NGO, let's say in Ladakh, or, in Africa, or, so it just makes it global. It saves the time to travel. Initially you had to travel so much, and, now you can do it from your home. For the NGO, you get access to volunteers not just in your location but across the world. Also, there is a lot of skills based volunteering. It's just not, a lot of the earlier volunteering was that people used to just clean the beach, or, paint the wall of a school and take photographs, and that actually didn't help anyone. It was the same wall getting painted again and again and again. So, now with virtual volunteering, it's actually useful things which can be done through the volunteers. So it's beneficial for the NGOs, and also beneficial for the company, because they can engage employees much better. It's a very cost-effective way to engage, but also creates so much satisfaction and a sense of purpose amongst the employees. So it's a win-win for everyone. And anything which is a win-win actually has that flywheel effect, that it starts, multiplying and growing really, really fast. And we see this, virtual volunteering now growing very fast across, a lot of different companies and volunteers and NGOs. But at the same time, there are a lot of challenges. And, if you look at the challenges from the company side, and, again, as I mentioned, we work a lot with companies. So a lot of the challenges, the first thing is that, if you are the CSR head of a company, typically you take a target that you will do, 50,000 hours of volunteering, or, 1 million hours of volunteering. And because of COVID, employees can't go out. And how do you complete that target? And if you're the, CSR head in the COVID year, you can't reduce your volunteering hours. So when the world needs you most, you can't reduce volunteering. So you have to do volunteering, and, the virtual volunteering is the only way to do. But it's new for all stakeholders. It's new for the employees or volunteers. It's new for the company, and it's new for the NGOs. No one knows how to, actually do virtual volunteering. It's just a concept. So because it's new for everyone, there is a limited set of opportunities what volunteers can do. And also there is a need for a lot of hand holding, because earlier what used to happen is that 20 volunteers would go in a bus to a lake and clean it, and they could ask their friends or colleagues on what to do, how to do. The NGO knew what to do. It was all done in a very process and a standardized manner. But now everyone is alone at their homes. They don't have colleagues nearby that they can ask. NGOs don't know how to engage with so many different volunteers spread across, and then there is a lot of confusion, uncertainty, and ambiguity. And that is why it's important to handhold, and that is why learnings from NGOs who have done this previously effectively becomes very important. And you could actually become a thought leader in this space. How to do virtual volunteering. Even if you look at the number of articles on virtual volunteering, there was very few before March of this year, and suddenly now there is a lot of activity happening. So there is a lot of challenges. And I personally feel that wherever there is a challenge, as an entrepreneur, you always think that wherever there is a challenge, there is a huge opportunity, because there is an unsolved problem there which potentially you can go ahead and solve it. And that's the beauty of this space, that there is a huge sudden demand because of the COVID situation. Very less supply, very less information on what to do and how to do, and that is a very great um, ecosystem to bring about change and innovation and build leadership there. So that's basically what is the challenges, but also an opportunity from a virtual volunteering perspective. Uh, if there are any, I would say, things which are not clear, just feel free to, jump in between. I'll take some, pauses in between. It shouldn't be a monologue. So, if there are any important questions that come up, and I can't see the chat because I'm presenting my screen, but if there are any open questions which are important, which you think are coming up, just let me know.
Sure, I'll keep you posted. As of now, there are no questions.
Sure.
As and when they come, I'll.
Sure. Sounds good. So at Goodera, we empower a lot of this using technology, and I can share some learnings about virtual volunteering from that. One is what we have a tech platform to help both companies and NGOs, and then what we call a Karma Hub, which is almost like a listing or a catalog of virtual volunteering opportunities. All of these opportunities are, as I mentioned, in 90 countries globally. So we have we work with NGOs across lot of countries, lot of languages, lot of time zones, lot of focus areas, understand their needs and onboard them, so that there is one central repository for virtual volunteering opportunities, which then volunteers, employees can go ahead and access, and then they can do it based on their needs, choices, preferences in terms of time commitments or likings, focus areas, and stuff. When you look at virtual volunteering, typically there is a framework, and this is again from a company perspective, but that helps you understand how people are thinking about virtual volunteering. So the first thing is, what are the goals? So obviously you want to create social impact, but in certain cases, it's to also enhance employee skills. So for example, we work with a large, pharmaceutical company, multi-billion-dollar company. And what they have done is that any new employee who joins them, they, have a volunteering, almost like a requirement for them. And that, creates a culture of volunteering. But what the company believes is also it helps build skills. And on the Goodera platform, we now have a LinkedIn integration. So anyone who volunteers actually can directly put it on LinkedIn, the volunteering experience, which is now helping a lot of our volunteers even get better jobs. So if there are two people with the same skill set, if one of them is volunteering and doing something over and beyond their daily work, actually they get a much higher preference, builds skills, builds exposure, builds leadership. So enhancing skills is also a very important component. And the last piece is building strong teams. There are a lot of HR teams trying to do employee engagement today, and they do it in fun and games. And actually even our HR head said we need fun and games in the company. And it's almost like a forceful thing for the employees. No one is actually enjoying or feeling connected to that. Whereas if they're working together on a mission or on a on a project which actually helps NGOs, helps the world, then it actually builds a significantly stronger team. And that's what we are seeing again, companies saying, okay, can our teams and across continents work together towards a common project? The next piece is geography. So do you want to volunteer with a local NGO, with a regional NGO, with a national or an international? So on Goodera, we have local NGOs, but also international NGOs like a UNICEF or a WHO. So it's a mix of types of opportunities, and based on that, you decide what's the best for you. Then it's a focus area. A lot of companies want to provide COVID-19 relief, and trying to do virtual volunteering around that, but also on healthcare or STEM education or environment. So all different focus areas. And the last piece, which is time commitment, which is in a couple of days, a couple of minutes. It's different types of opportunities. But this is basically a good way when you as a volunteer are deciding what you want, or when you are the leader of your company deciding what kind of volunteering opportunities that you should provide to your employees. And if you are at the NGO side, you understand how companies are thinking, and when you want to work with companies effectively, these are some of the tools and techniques which will help you engage with companies in a much more effective manner, because you want to understand the company's mindset and also the needs and requirements, so that you know how to best structure your conversation. You would also know whether it makes sense to work with a company or not, because you've also seen a lot of NGOs spend a lot of time trying to work with companies and getting grants, but there is a lot of conversation, but nothing actually happens or nothing gets closed, because what the company wants and thinks is very different from what the NGO wants and thinks. So that's why it's important to understand both sides really well. This is just the framework getting used. Say, for example, you're building a marketing strategy for an NGO for COVID relief. A lot of NGOs now are also facing issues in terms of fundraising because of two key reasons. One is a lot of the CSR money has already been gone to COVID relief. So for all other activities, the budgets have reduced significantly, and that is a big concern for NGOs. And the second thing is that the traditional fundraising methodologies, like have a lunch or a dinner, or all of those things, which and fundraising event, those are all can't happen now. So because of these two reasons, the fundraising for NGOs has become a big challenge, and it is important to change your marketing strategy and your go to market strategy, and you could have a team based volunteering events around it. And we have seen this work really well for NGOs. So it helps build teams for the company, but it also creates social impact from an NGO perspective, because they can scale up. It can be local, regional NGOs, and it's a one-time activity. But this is just a framework getting used here. Similarly, another piece is how can you counsel people facing anxiety due to COVID, and there is obviously a pre-learning here, and you learn and understand how to counsel people, and then you could actually become a volunteer doing this. At Goodera, we take up the entire end-to-end virtual volunteering management. So when we work with companies, we understand their needs and curate opportunities, drive registrations, execute, coordinate, and measure impact and communicate this impact. And a lot of these learnings we provide to the NGOs, so that they know how best to engage with companies and create the perception of benefit or ROI for the company, because that becomes very critical. Sometimes it's like the blind men and the elephant. Everyone perceives things very differently based on what they are seeing, and it's important to get all these stakeholders together, so that what are the needs of the company knows what are the needs of the NGO and the volunteers. So everyone knows what are the needs, and then you fit like a win-win case, which becomes then scalable. Now, in terms of virtual volunteering, there are different types of opportunities. So right from teaching and training, for example, is one of the main ones, where there is an actual value add which can happen, which can be global, and technology is enabling that at a huge scale. But there is a lot of other things in terms of project management or leadership, or writing code or doing research, or right from or doing simple things like recording an audiobook for blind students, to like there are different kinds of opportunities. And what we have tried to do at Goodera is just catalog them into different buckets based on focus areas, time commitments, local or international NGO, individual or team based, so that it becomes very easy for anyone to search and discover the right opportunity. uh, you know so this is how it gets presented, but these are some of the ones that we have seen. There is also face masks for the community. So what we did is, if someone is doing face masks, we partnered with NGOs in different cities so that they can get it collected and distributed in an effective manner as well. Another piece is the social media push. So a lot of times volunteering for companies is also helping build their brand and an employer brand. So it's critical to enable companies with a lot of content, so that they can share it across different channels. Maybe I'll skip through this. This is a case study of a global company trying to do 50,000 hours and how we went about doing that. So I'll skip through this. I just quickly wanted to show our platform, which we are offering pro bono for virtual volunteering. So, this is basically, for example, the Goodera platform, where there are a whole bunch of virtual volunteering opportunities, and as I mentioned, this is global. So across different focus areas, across different sectors, time commitments, there are a whole bunch of different virtual volunteering opportunities. And if you click on each of them, you would get more details around a particular opportunity, and which is the NGO, when is it happening, what you'll be doing, who else is going. So all of this is mentioned here. So it's a one-stop place for understanding all the different kinds of opportunities. So it's a catalog of virtual volunteering opportunities that are here. Again, I'll just pause for some time and just maybe get any feedback or questions, and before I move forward.
Yes, there are two questions. One is from Alenka. She says, "Hi, good morning. I'm just curious to know, how likely is it for the people, those who are involving into remote volunteering right now, will continue even after things go back to normal?"
Sure, that's a very important and a good question, and we have discussed and debated a lot. So obviously, it's a peak of virtual volunteering today. What we feel is that uh, at least till the end of this calendar year, till December, people won't go out and volunteer. It's a risk for the volunteers. It's also a risk for the end beneficiaries. So the people will want to avoid interactions, and specifically companies would want to avoid interactions for their employees. So at least for this year, there will be a lot of virtual volunteering. And we also feel that virtual volunteering is actually much better than physical volunteering for everyone in the company, the employee and the NGO. So it might actually become a part of the culture. It might reduce a little over time, but it will be substantially higher than what it was 2 months before COVID started. So we feel that this will be the new normal. It won't maybe be at the current levels, maybe reduced by 10-20%, but it's actually 20 times more than what it was before COVID started. So it's a extremely big shift, and we are still seeing initial days of that. I think one key piece here would be, how do you leverage technology here? If I'm a volunteer, the reason why I want to go out and volunteer on the ground is so that I can interact with the let's say students, or with the end beneficiaries on the ground. So if using technology you can create that emotional sense of satisfaction even without going on the ground, then this will become the new normal for sure. So those are some of the things that we are thinking about.
Thank you, Abhishek. The next question is, what are the top 5 volunteering trends as experienced by Goodera?
Sorry, I couldn't hear the question.
What are the top 5 volunteering trends experienced by Goodera?
I think the top 5 trends. So one thing we are seeing is education or mentorship is something which everyone feels will be extremely useful, and so that is something where we are seeing a lot of traction or activity happening. So that is one. Second is uh, everyone wants to do their part in COVID relief. So anything and everything that helps, let's say, frontline health workers or vulnerable sections of the society from COVID, and that is the second piece that we are seeing. The third piece we are seeing is that people want to do something together. Everyone is at their homes, but are trying to say, okay, how can we interact with the community? And then community in the sense your team members or colleagues or other fellow friends and do something together. So that is another piece that we are seeing as a third trend. The fourth trend that we are seeing is a lot of global volunteering also happening. As in, I want to understand the culture of different countries or cities, and volunteering and interacting with someone there is one of the best ways to do it. So that's another thing that we are seeing. And the last piece is just more and more innovation and technology usage. It's just, for example, now we have a Zoom integration, a Microsoft Teams integration on the Goodera platform, which makes it easy for everyone. So a lot of that use of technology. We have a WhatsApp integration so that communication is easier. We have a Slack integration. So there is a lot of innovation and technology usage also happening. So that's another trend that we're seeing.
Thank you. There is another question.
Mm-hmm.
Good morning. This is with reference to your website, I think. Good morning. Are details of every place given? Like I stay in Kolkata, so can I get information of volunteering in Kolkata?
Right now, no. So our model actually is more working with companies. So what happens is, let's say Amazon is a company, and if they use our platform, then their employees get access to this. We are still working on our version of giving access to uh, you know the broader audience. The reason behind that is that every volunteer also needs to undergo some diligence, because you want to ensure that it's safe for everyone and stuff, and we are still trying to figure out the best way. Whereas when we work with companies, they do the diligence for us, so it becomes easier for us to work. But if you need volunteering opportunities, share your details with me. Happy to share more details, 1:1.
Sure.
Great. Yeah, go on.
Yeah, there is one more, but it might. I'll just read out the question from Tara Bedekar. According to you, what kind of interaction is beneficial while delivering the lecture? It is more teaching specific, I think.
Sure. I think, so the teaching is also such a huge world, right? The kind of students you're teaching, what's, I would say, which class of students, what subjects, what community they are coming from. But what we have seen is that so one is a teaching part, but we have also seen a lot of, let's say, life skills related mentorship, which actually has become very beneficial, because a lot of the teaching also students get access, like in terms of information, but they don't have access to exposure and talking to different people. So I think that is also very meaningful. So interactions definitely are very helpful that we have seen, but it has to happen in a very structured environment. The problem is that when you are face to face, it's still difficult to have structure, but when you are remote, it's extremely difficult, because you can't visualize the situation at the other side for both sides. And that's why it's very critical, as I mentioned, that how could you have technology to almost like transport emotion from one side to the other, so that you could visualize and feel what's happening at the other side, because we tend to think of everything from our perspective rather than the perspective of the person we're interacting with. So that's a challenge that we are trying to solve for in different ways.
Sure. Yeah. Would you want to continue the presentation?
Sure. I'll just maybe for the next 5 to 10 minutes just continue.
Sure.
And
We
then
can take the questions after that. Yes.
Sure. So just in terms of our platform, and it's more about to share that how technology is empowering volunteering. So if we at Goodera were to think about volunteering now with 1 million volunteers, so that is like 10 lakh people, and across 90 countries. It would have been impossible without technology. That's the only way we could do it is through technology. So there is one from an employee or a volunteer perspective, so that they can search and discover, volunteering opportunities and reduce the friction. As I was telling you initially, if you were to book a cab or order something on Swiggy or Zomato, it is so simple. But if you want to volunteer, as the question came up, what can I do in Kolkata? And there is so much need in Kolkata, but it's difficult to find what can you do. And even if you find, you need to contact the NGO, then they'll come back. There are, you don't know when and how will they come back. Then there are 5 forms to fill, and then some scheduling to happen. So it's a very high friction, which means that you need to be extremely motivated to do it. If it was very simple, and it's like, okay, I can do it when I'm it just takes 30 seconds to register, and I can finish my work in 30 minutes, versus it takes me 1 week to actually find and register, and then it's 30 minutes of volunteering. So that's the difference. So our goal was, how can we make it extremely simple as going to Airbnb and booking something, or going to Uber to like get a cab. So our goal was, how do you reduce friction tremendously? So as I mentioned, you could register on WhatsApp, you could scan a QR code and register, you could register through our mobile app or a web app. So just make it extremely simple to register. At the same time, a lot of communication. So even if you register, let's say on, again, given example of Uber or Swiggy, just because a lot of people would use it, is where the cab is or where the person is who's getting the food. But when you are volunteering, you don't know what to do, when to do, how to do. You have just registered. So have a lot of communication also, which we enable through the technology platform, and also a lot of focus on sharing of photos and videos, because we feel if someone shares that, more people see it and more people would volunteer. So that's something which we have focused on. Also a lot of reporting. This is important more from a company perspective, so I'll not go through that. A lot of our focus is also measuring the impact, because if you're a volunteer or if you're a donor, it is very important for you to be able to measure impact and then understand that, because then it shouldn't be a one-way traffic. For example, we're just giving inputs, but we don't know what is happening with it, then we feel uncertain. And if we know, for example, what is happening, what is the impact, then you would double down on efforts. You know what is working, not working. So measuring impact becomes very critical, and that is what are the 2 pillars for Goodera. Reduce friction and increase transparency by measuring impact. So these are the 2 key things which we feel are very critical for a successful doing good program or a volunteering program, and that can be enabled through technology if you have to do it at scale. Maybe I'll just show you some of these slides, but these are some amount of, let's say, notifications or emailers which come to you, so what pre-event details, event day reminders, sharing photos, impact reports, all of this gets automated so that what is happening. It's not it's a very predictable, safe, standardized experience. And also a lot of focus on content and photos. I was just seeing that Twitter today, and there is a something promoted by Lenovo and their partnership with eVidyaloka on training. And in fact, the interesting part is that Lenovo is a customer, and I'm talking to you today. So it's a very small world, but it's great to see that you're working with companies and brands to get the word out, because as I mentioned, there is a very inherent need and urge and demand for people to do good. It's just not that they don't have an opportunity or a channel, and the existing channels have very high friction. So how do you make it very simple and very easy, and you would actually see a huge movement and a transformation happening in this space. And this is what I was telling you about the WhatsApp integration, or Microsoft Teams or Zoom. Just makes it very easy for everyone to do it. So maybe I'll just pause for questions. So that's what I wanted to share. Happy to do more question and interactions.
Sure, thank you. So the further questions are, Can I get access to teach globally with the help of Goodera? This is asked by Seema Dhanuka.
Yeah, absolutely. As in, it's both ways. So students in India, for example, can get access to teachers across the world, and teachers in India can work with students across the world.
Thank you. So the next one is by Anvesha Ghosh. So the question is, I feel there is now an urgent need to modify the education system in terms of modifying the structure of subjects which can be delivered effectively online. I feel teachers need to be adequately trained for the same, and also the power sector can ensure uninterrupted and affordable supply, especially in the remote areas. What are your thoughts?
Sure, I think so. This is specific to a particular use case, and I may not be the
Sure.
expert
Yeah.
on this, but generally what we are seeing is that education as a space is transforming. Earlier very few had access to the best teachers in the world, and now everything is a lot of people have significantly more access. Internet and power is getting more and more available across. So I think it will change significantly, and because everything has become virtual, so even if you had an access in the city to the best schools, you might maybe not go there and actually do everything virtually. So this will actually, if you look at any ed tech company, they have seen like 4 times, 5 times increase in volumes in the last 1 month. So it's going through a huge and massive shift, the entire education space.
Thank you. So while you were showing the registration form of Goodera, there was a question that says, can this volunteer registration be as a group or only individual?
Yeah, it's both individual and a group. So you could yourselves register your friends or team members, or you could invite your friends and team members after you register so that they can register. But both ways are possible.
Thank you. So the next one is again from Alenka. What could be the best possible opportunities through which nonprofits can involve virtual volunteers to help generate donations?
Sure, I think it's an interesting point here, because what we have seen is typically people who volunteer at a NGO, they tend to donate to that NGO. So that is a very, there are a lot of studies and a lot of stats around it. So it is a very well established fact. I think where the challenge is that when is the right time to get donations. So for example, whenever at Goodera, when the employees of our customers would go out and volunteer, uh, if you send a donation link to them, just a link that you could donate here, no one does it, because it seems that you're asking for money. But if you say that the money will be used for XYZ things at this center and make it very specific, the donations increase significantly. Also the timing, if you send a link to donate 3 days after someone has volunteered, it is out of sight out of mind kind of thing. So you want to do it much sooner and much faster, and at while just after the volunteering activity is the best time. The next thing is, how do you make it easier? Then you don't want to ask them to go to some link, then create an account and then ask them to donate. No one will do it. How do you make it very simple, so that as soon as they get some link, they can do it through UPI or credit card, or and also with the payroll of the company. So how do you make it simpler again? The next piece is, after someone donates, your job is just half done, because you need to constantly communicate on what is happening with the money, because then they donate more and also share with others. You want any donor or any volunteer that you get, you want them to become your ambassadors, and it is very important to cultivate and nurture them so that they can spread the word really fast. So these are some of the things, especially corporate volunteers. They can also get their companies to deploy their CSR budgets, which can actually be a larger amount. So it becomes very important to again, as I mentioned, cultivate and nurture your volunteers really well, and don't just it has to be done in a very subtle manner. And someone tells you, if you face kind of request, then typically it doesn't happen. But if you cultivate and nurture and it becomes a part of their DNA, and they start being more and more associated. So these are some of the learnings, but it's a very, very important point that volunteers would tend to donate to NGOs where they volunteer.
Thank you for answering that question. There is another question that is not specific to volunteering, but I would read it out to you. It's up to you, the choice of answering. Now that environment is cleaning itself, what are different ways to make people realize its importance and continue it after lockdown?
Yeah, it's a interesting question, and I think it's now that we realize what actual nature was, and a lot of people say it's nature's way of cleaning the world, but once a lockdown ends, it's very difficult to actually it most likely will get to the same place, maybe in a couple of months. But some interesting things which are happening. So I was just reading up in Canada, for example, any company which wants to avail of the relief package, and India has also announced a lot of relief packages for companies. They need to disclose their carbon footprint and what are they doing for the environment. So it's a prerequisite. So if you want any government support, you need to be conscious of the environment. So that's one simple way in which this is working. And maybe obviously the transportation would reduce, so from the previous time, so emissions would reduce, but not as much as we would intend. But it's a great time also to build different policies and sets different systems, because everything is restarting from almost zero. So if we can put environment at the center of these things, then actually hopefully there can be a material difference.
Thank you for answering that. The question was from Jay Bansal. Hope you have a convincing answer. Thank you. So this is all the questions we have, Abhishek.
Sure.
So could you, So with this, we come to the end of this session. Unless any other questions, if anyone has a question, you can post it now.
Yeah, this is my email ID in case someone wants to reach out to me and know or learn more about Goodera, or any questions you might have basis this session. Happy to answer them, and I think would love to continue the conversation with eVidyaloka and see how we could potentially partner and work together. The work that you're doing is absolutely amazing, and I know so many volunteers who share so many good stories about the work that's been done by you. So very, very impressive, and would love to see how we could partner in some way.
Thank you for saying that, sir. We have also means we know Goodera very well. We are familiarity and our respect for you is really high. That is one of the things that we wanted to have this session in the first place. So thank you very much for this session. I also thank all the participants. The email ID appeared in the presentation. I have also posted it in the comment section. You can copy it and write your questions or any queries that you have. There are a number of people saying thank you to you in the comments.
Sure.
I'm very glad there are such organizations which are genuinely involved in catering to social needs. Thank you. Thank you. A lot of people are thanking you. So thank you. With this, we come to the end of this session. The recording of this session will also be put up on the YouTube channel of eVidyaloka. So if you want somebody else to watch this session, you can also refer them to the channel. Thank you, everyone.
Great.
Thank you, Abhishek.
Great. Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone.